of a lot of the praise it's getting. So
It's exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
yeah.
What if we recorded a podcast? Is everybody okay with that?
I would be fine with that.
Ready to go?
Crazy idea.
I'm going to take my super cool McElroy Brothers hoodie off. I hope that Gus doesn't wee on it.
You can't say that on the podcast. I didn't pay for a placement.
Actually, strange turn of events. Justin contacted me just this morning. He wants to get a sponsor us with Schmanners.
You can't joke about that kind of stuff.
Justin doesn't do Schmanner. That's not Justin's show.
That's why it's funny. My friend Sam and I, who both love the McElroy Brothers, have a joke about Travis's podcasts because neither of us listen to them. So we constantly reference his podcasts as jokes.
No, when my sibling and I saw the Bim Bam live show, we definitely had a running joke about like which Travis show is going to be the opener. As it turned out, there was no opener, but
doesn't Sawbones usually open?
Sometimes other shows open. Like sometimes they have still buffering open, and it depends. But
I'm so jealous that you've seen my brother and me live.
It was a very good show. I totally recommend it if they're ever in the UK.
I don't think they will be because they will have children. But
yeah, their children will grow up and want to go on a lovely vacation.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they were doing a tour this summer, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to New York. I was like, oh my god, they're going to New York. And then it was like 2 weeks before I'm there.
No.
Yeah, but let's do this podcast.
Yeah, we're all set up and good to go.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first, best, most special episode 14 of Gaming Fyx.
15?
The best only podcast recorded by 6 internet friends on the internet who met on the internet about games. So I'd like to welcome you to today's stand-up meeting. I am your chairman, Sam Harrison. We have, again, our Chief Technical Officer, Alex Galinas.
I'm using standing desk controls.
And our Head of Public Outreach, Alison.
Coming to you live from inside a blizzard, so that's a great public outreach today.
Live from inside of Blizzard.
Yeah.
How's Overwatch?
I have
Wait,
very snowy.
Is there a new Warcraft game?
You know, I can't tell you because this is a literal blizzard, so...
Sorry, not to jump ahead of news, but did you see that there was a new Warcraft 3 patch pushed today?
Yeah, that
was there?
Like,
Yeah.
the widescreen and stuff. That makes me
Anyways.
Our Head of International Relations, Andre.
I have a 95 on Metacritic.
Erica, who is operating at a 100 on Metacritic.
Oh yeah, something like that. I'm here though. I'm back.
Feel better.
Thank you.
And as always, our best boy, Pat.
Warcraft 3 is not in the BattleNet launcher, and it makes me really mad.
I know. What the fuck?
It's definitely going to get patched in there. Like,
It better.
Let's get real.
If it's not already, like, what are they doing? Isn't
Warcraft 3
is OG StarCraft in there? Didn't they do something to that?
Yeah,
already?
they added that.
Recently.
StarCraft Remastered. So, Warcraft 3 is a really good game that came out in like 1997 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of games that came out in 1997, Alex, what have you been playing this week?
Well done. Well, as you know, I haven't had a lot of time for games because work and moving and other such things. So I went back and played only the best video game. I went and played about, let's call it 3 hours of Lego Island.
Hey.
So you completed Lego Island.
I wish. Have any of you guys played Lego Island?
Fuck yeah, dude. I've played so much Lego Island in my lifetime.
Dude, that game is full of charm and wit and the Brickster, and it plays like total ass.
Yeah.
Like, playing it is just terrible. It has awful frame rate. The way you interact is basically like an adventure game, just a point and click.
Yep.
And sometimes they try and throw in some like 3D racing stuff or just
And there's
everything
one
about
track.
yeah, on one track that has like giant skeletons and stuff. But
Yeah, the track is so cool though.
it is pretty cool. But man, that game is garbage. But I totally love it and recommend it to
Oh.
everyone.
It's worth. I honestly think it's worth seeing. I don't know that game. That's an amazing game. You're right in that a lot of the control and a lot of aspects of it are really bad, but
Oh yeah, but
there's
it is
so much cool stuff in there.
it is so charming. It is one of the most charming games.
It was just mind blowing to me at the time when I played it, because I was like obsessed with Legos at that time. Would have been in elementary school, so I was like really, 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 really into it. I loved the like world. It felt massive to me, even though it's this tiny little island that like is not a big game at all. But it felt huge, and like there was all kinds of stuff to uncover, and there were some like kind of secrets and Easter eggs hiding around in the world.
Yeah,
It's
you could
just- it's a-
totally. Sorry.
No, it's just a cool game. Yeah.
Yeah, you could totally like run into the cliffs and find some random stuff going on. Like I think it might actually be my first 3D open world game that I ever played.
It was definitely mine. Definitely.
Yeah. So
How much?
Sorry.
How much of the modern Lego game DNA do you see in that?
Zero.
0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly 0.
Yeah.
Like it's just a thing of the era. Like it is what it is, and it's it's I don't know, it's an experience that you have to have.
Yeah, it's really more of an adventure game than like it's like a first person adventure game. It shares a lot more DNA with kind of like modern walking sims actually than it does with the Lego games. In that it's a lot of like walking around, doing dialogue. There's a little bit of action in it, like Alex said, with the racing sequences, and I think there's a couple other like missions where you have to get from point A to point B by a certain time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's. Did you ever play the sequels to it?
I did not.
They get a lot better in terms of gameplay, and they maintain most of the charm. They kind of go for like a bit more of a like attitude than the original goes for. The first one's just very like kind of just fun and lighthearted, and the later ones try to be a little bit more X Games. But in general, though, they're still fun and they're cool.
Like Island Extreme Stunts with an X.
Yep, the third one is called Extreme Stunts.
Wow, is it actually?
Yep.
That's amazing. So
It's pretty good too. I mean, it's fun.
I just want to air one grievance with this game, and that's the last mission of the game. I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
it. You're flying around in a helicopter, and you're trying to catch the Brickster, and you're helping the police. You're guiding the police towards the Brickster by shooting donuts at the roads, and then you're luring the Brickster by shooting pizzas.
Yep.
And God, is it terrible.
It's really bad. I mean, the plot of this game is that there's one criminal on this island that has a population of like 8 people, and 2 of those people are police officers, 2 of them are your parents, you're one of them, and one of them's like a mechanic, and then there's also this criminal.
And there's sharks.
Yeah, they're sharks.
Fun fact about Lego Island: it is the first Lego game released ever outside of Japan.
Yeah.
Huh, I didn't actually know that. What came out before it in Japan?
You know it's going to be a trivia question.
I would do some research for trivia
Let's
questions.
put it this way: it's the first game released by Lego Media, which is now known as Lego Interactive.
Pat saying it shares
no.
DNA.
Sorry.
With...
Go ahead.
Oh, Pat saying it shares DNA with walking sims just has me thinking of games like Lego Gone Home and
Lego Dear Esther.
yeah,
Lego Interactive was defunct in 2004. I shouldn't say now known as that.
Yeah.
Also, why isn't it?
It's WB? Oh, who does those? I play Lego Harry
Traveller's
Potter
Tales.
a lot. Trevor. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Publishing. But also, why isn't it Legon Home?
Oh God.
Oh no.
Because this isn't a Reddit joke.
To clarify too, there was only one Lego game released in Japan called Lego Fun to Build
That sounds pretty
on
fun.
the Sega Pico,
Yeah, that
Ooh,
sounds good.
on the Pico.
which I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Speaking of Japanese games, That one's for the video viewers out there, of which are the people on this call. Andre, I hear you've been playing one of the most Japanese games.
Yeah. This is, oh boy. Okay, strap in, boys and girls.
Okay, so give it to me simple and clean.
You're giving me too many things, baby. You're all I need. Simple and clean is the way that you make me feel when I play Kingdom Hearts 2.8, 2.8, 2.5 HD Remix, Birth by Sleep HD, Final Mix HD, Birth by Sleep, the PSP game that is a prequel to all the existing Kingdom Hearts games. Questions. We'll start slow.
We
At
only
this
have
point,
like
do
10
you
minutes
have
per game.
Do you have questions already?
So many
Walk me
questions.
through this.
Can I start with why?
Because I like Kingdom Hearts, and Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out, and I
No,
already
it's-
own, according to some placeholder stuff, maybe November 1st, which is a Thursday, and games have been coming out on Thursdays, so I could see it. God of War's coming out on a Thursday. Anyway, I already
Friday.
owned. Maybe I gotta look. Why you gotta do this?
It's coming out on 420, Alison's birthday, next Friday.
It is Friday. Anyway, that'll be a Saturday for me. Kingdom Hearts 2.5. I already own it, so I figured might as well play this game because I had never touched anything outside of Chain of Memories and like the 2 PS2 games, which I've rebeat Kingdom Hearts 2 last week right before this podcast, but I talked about whatever other thing I played. Anyway, Birth by Sleep is a prequel to the entire series, and I'm glad I played it because apparently things that happen in that are important to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Of course they are.
Yeah, I was not expecting that because it's a PSP game and nobody owns PSP. You play as 3 Keyblade masters. There's 3 characters. Each one has a different story. And so I played through all 3 stories, and then they all like intermingle and like stuff, and you're like crossing paths. And like they've got like deep cut Final Fantasy and Disney characters. They have like Zack from Final Fantasy VII as a character.
Wow.
And you fight. He's in the Hercules world, so you fight with him and Hercules against these new monsters. And then there's Master Xehanort, which when you anagram it out, it's Master No Heart or another. No one really knows which one it's supposed to be. Tetsuya Nomura says it could be both.
Of course.
Because when people go bad, they get an X on their name and it like anagrams out. So like Lee becomes Axel and Sora becomes Roxas. But then like Roxas is the soul of one of these Keyblade masters, Ventus, who got put into Sora because when he had his dark half and his light half split, Master Xehanort put his light half on Destiny Islands, the place he grew up.
This is
Sora.
We can't do this.
Riku, and then the good soul of Ventus ends up in Sora. So when Sora becomes a Heartless in Kingdom Hearts 1, he creates a nobody. And the good soul of Ventus becomes the nobody.
So I want to show you. I recently cleaned out a bunch of my PlayStation 4 games that I've like done with, and one of the ones that I did not clear out was this copy of Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix, because I've never actually finished a single Kingdom Hearts game, but like I want to, and even with everything you just said, which included a shitload of spoilers, I still have no clue what the hell any of it means, so I don't feel like anything was spoiled at all.
Yeah. So having played through these games recently, 1 is rough. Like 1 is real rough. 2
I played 1 last year, and it was definitely iffy.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it because it got really hard at one weird point, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. 2 is
playing combat.
2 is serviceable, and Birth by Sleep is weird. It has like, instead of like just like mashing X and then getting random commands, you or mashing attack. So you have your attack on X, and then you hit triangle to do like slide through a deck of moves. Like I'm gonna do a blitz or like a strike raid or a Firaga, and then those recharge. And as you progress through the game, you can make your deck bigger, and you unlock a bunch of equipable abilities and stuff. It's a lot better than Chain of Memories, which had like a playing card deck kind of thing, which I did not care for. I never beat it on the GBA, and I tried to go back to it on the PS4, and
I actually like Chain of Memories a fair bit, but I am pretty forgiving of a lot of the funny thing about it is that I like a lot of the stuff that people hate about the combat and controls in those games. So I can live with them, even though I would agree that they're rough. I went back to try to start playing 1 again last year, and it is rough, but really it's just like the movement and jumping felt too clunky. Otherwise, I don't really have any problem with it.
Yeah, I liked Chain of Memories a lot, but that was also my first Kingdom Hearts game. So it was like it felt a lot more forgiving. But then I went back and tried to play Chain of Memories on the 1.5, 2.5 collection, and I was like, man, this is a lot rougher than I remembered. I feel like in general, like playing old games, I realized that I was a lot more forgiving of nonsense when I was younger. But yeah. So I've actually never played 2, so I might go try to play that before 3 comes out.
If you want to look back at your memories and be, like, oh man, I was so forgiving of gameplay, you should play Lego Island.
I've never played Lego Island.
I should play Lego Island again now that since we talked about it.
If you are actually going to try and play Kingdom Hearts 3, I would recommend playing 2 and Birth by Sleep, because there are things that are going to come up in Birth by Sleep that will be major points in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Good to know. I definitely have 2.8 or the 1.5, 2.5, and I'm not sure if I need to get 2.8 or whatever that is.
I'm probably just going to read a Wikipedia thing on it.
I once just watched an entire video summarizing Kingdom Hearts plot points, and I don't remember any of it because it was all like incomprehensible.
Actually, the weird thing is I can kind of follow it. It's just if you're not actually playing it and not getting the context for it, I don't think it works as well. But now I kind of know what's going on. I didn't play. There's Recoded. There's
Recoded. Who fucking knows, man?
Yeah, so Recoded is just cinematics, but that was like a phone game or some shit.
Yeah.
I
have to say this though. I think it's really great that they've re-released all of these games to modern systems and up to the graphics and made them playable, because there's so many weird systems that they released stuff onto, and so many weird here's this phone game and here's this Game Boy Advance game and here's this PSP game that most people wouldn't get around to if it wasn't available readily.
Chain of Memories was put on the PS2 a while after it came out.
Yeah, but still, I think it's nice that they've kind of put this collection together, because it's really handy.
Well, it's interesting that we're nearing the release of God of War, which is this huge people saying game of the generation kind of junk, and you can't play the rest of that series on PS4 right now. If you wanted to go back and say oh, I missed those games, I never played them, you couldn't. There's not an HD collection on PS4. You can play it on PS now, but you can't.
God of War 3 is at least.
God of War 3 is remastered on PS4, but the first 2 and the PSP games, they're not. So I kind of give credit to Square that they put out that they put that collection out, and they tend to do that every time there's a new console to do it on.
But also they're doing it because they'll make money on it, because
totally
will buy anything they put out.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I think having that option to go back and play things, exactly, it's a win-win. And
2 fucking collections, the 2.5 and 2.8. What the fuck?
That part's kind of funny.
Yeah, that is kind of bullshit.
So Andre, I know you said any questions earlier on. I do have a really short question. So Goofy and Pluto both appear to be dogs.
Here we
No,
go.
We can't. No.
I want to know where he's going with this.
One of them is a pet, and
I've
one of
never
them
thought
is
about
a
this before.
person.
Mhm.
Do you know the reason?
Pluto was lobotomized for speaking against King Mickey. He was punished, and
No.
P has come too.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mickey is a king,
Yeah.
so don't fuck with the king. If you're gonna come at the king, you best not miss. Pluto
Also-
missed.
2.8 does have a different game in it than that 2.5 one.
Yes.
It's a different
2.8
collection.
Is its own, has it, but also, what the fuck?
No, you're right.
It
The
should
point
all
still
be
stands,
one.
but at least it is a different
Yes,
set of
it
stuff.
it is a different. It is like 3 things that 2 or 3 things that
I
aren't.
have
in
it up.
2.5.
It's Dream Drop Distance which was that Vita game. I think it was on
Mhm.
Vita, right?
Might have been-
and
Was it
It's
3DS?
3DS.
might have been
It was
PSP.
I think it was 3DS.
No, it was
Because it has 3Ds in the title.
Yeah.
Weird.
Drop distance.
Yeah. And then
So
got
stupid.
Birth by Sleep, a short episode that's like
Yes,
outside of
fragmentary-
Birth by Sleep. Yeah,
a fragmentary
Yeah.
pass.
and then a movie. It's mostly just Dream Drop
Ooh.
Distance HD.
Okay,
Yeah.
Andre, I have a question.
Okay.
I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, but I know they have a ton of Disney properties in them.
Yes.
Do they have Darkwing Duck?
No.
Then fuck that series.
Hey man, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Scrooge McDuck, dog.
Yeah,
Scrooge McDuck appears in Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, but Scrooge McDuck does not get dangerous.
That's true.
Donald Duck gets dangerous.
I will say, in all, like, as much as that series has become the brunt of a lot of jokes, and I understand why, like, a lot of the, like, original content they made for it, the, like, stuff that you were kind of running through, Andre, the Sora and Roxas and all that, it's kind of like, fucking seriously, but the way they represent the Disney stuff and the Final Fantasy stuff in those games is pretty cool to see if you're a fan of those two, like, universes.
It's just the most ridiculous fan fiction.
Yeah, and it's fun, and they care, I think, about the properties that they're representing.
Also, fun fact: David Boreanaz is the voice of Squall from Final Fantasy
It
VIII.
is very weird.
Realize that. I don't know why I didn't realize that.
The first time I
Christopher-
played it, it was just like, what's going on?
Oh god. Okay. Mark Hamill is the voice of the Keyblade Master in Birth by
Mhm.
Sleep,
Mhm.
and I don't know if he's coming back for Kingdom Hearts 3 because there's like a young version of him. And then also, Christopher Lee is the voice of a character in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yep.
And
Who's the voice of
else?
Eris? It's the girl from American Beauty, but I can't remember her name, the actress's name.
I don't know. Hayden Panettiere is Kyrie.
Yep.
Haley Joel Osment is Sora. Like,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, it's got kind of a crazy cast.
Yeah. Square Enix got that money though.
Yep.
Let's move on to another game.
Yes.
Great
Let's.
segue.
Kingdom Hearts. Blah, blah, it's a new Kingdom Hearts game.
Erica, I hear you've been playing a game that makes more sense than Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it does. I've been playing
Objection.
Nog.
I don't know that that's. I think they're on a similar level of.
I mean, Nog isn't trying to tell a story, at
Right.
least.
The faces are cassette tapes. The cassette tapes are the answer. Simple, clean.
Clearly, it makes perfect sense.
So I have the flu. I feel like shit. I look like shit. Just everything. I don't want to do anything. I took a 4-hour nap today and I'm still tired. It's just not been a great week for me.
Mhm.
And so I didn't really want to play any games at all. And I'm like, okay, I gotta play something. And I knew what Nog was because Alex pushed for it for best music in our Game of the Year talk. And I bought it pretty soon after he was talking about that, and I hadn't played it at all. I watched my husband play like maybe 30 minutes, an hour of it, so I kind of knew that it was nice and low key, which it certainly is. It's a good sick game. It's a good, like, game for people who are sick or otherwise incapacitated, like maybe drugs.
My favorite sick games are Tony Hawk and Dave Mirra's BMX.
It's not that kind of sick. But yeah, I don't know. This game is pretty cool. I like it. It's like it's less of a game and more of like just interacting with stuff. It kind of reminds me of like children's toys in that it's like, okay, turn this thing and flip this lever and do things to whatever. And it's nice. It's calm. It's low key. The music's really amazing. I can't speak intelligently about music, but I'm sure Alex might have some better things to say than I do, other than, like, it's good. And yeah, like after you complete each of the levels, the faces, they're like, each of the levels are like a face, I guess, and they like sing to you sort of, and it's pretty awesome, and it feels like you accomplish something at the end of each of those. But I like it. I don't know. I could see the complaint being that it's like it's not much of a game, and so you might be annoyed if you paid any amount of money for it. I don't know how much it costs. I bought it too long ago.
That's just like other professional video game outlets. We don't know how much the games cost. We don't know what platforms they're released on, but we do know they might be games.
Yes.
Yep.
I played it on PlayStation. I am almost positive it's also available on Steam.
It's a PSVR title for those.
Yeah, I didn't play it on VR because I don't have a PSVR, but yeah, I would imagine it's probably cool on that. It's really visually stunning and fun and chill.
Awesome. Speaking of being visually stunning and chill,
boy, you better choose your next words carefully.
Me, what game have I been playing? No, I didn't really have an end to that segue. I just basically have been using the last two words people say and hoping it works out, but no one's really given me a good prompt, Erica.
Sorry.
Alison, what have you been playing this week?
Okay, so my big game purchase of the week it's not the game I'm talking about, but I just want to quickly mention is I bought a modded Game Boy Advance, and it's a backlit mod, which it makes so much difference in playing Game Boy Advance games. Like even with the SP with the front light, this backlight is beautiful. And so I've been playing it, and it's been really fun. Currently, I have been grinding in Pokemon, trying to beat the Elite Four because my Pokemon are very underleveled right now. So, but that's been really fun. But since, as I mentioned, right now there's a ton of snow outside, so I decided to kind of get into a new game or something I hadn't played before. I kind of wanted to play a shooter.
Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Yes. No. I was originally thinking about getting back into Overwatch, but then it needed a really big update on my PlayStation 4. So I instead downloaded Fortnite, which I have been playing this afternoon. I played about 4 hours today so far.
Okay, which Fortnite?
Just the Battle Royale, not the. Well, and the thing is, I haven't played any PUBG because I had no idea if I'd like it or not, and I didn't want to put $30 into a game that I had no idea about. But Fortnite Battle Royale is free, so I decided to give it a shot. I don't know how long I'll stick with it. But I do think it's a really fun game to just drop in, and I imagine it'd be a really nice game if I had no idea what to do, but I just wanted to play a game for a little bit, so I could just drop in and play a couple of rounds of the Battle Royale. I am so far very bad at it, but maybe getting a little bit better, I think. I don't know if I quite like the pacing of these battle royale games, mostly because, and I think this is something that if you really just have to get if some people like or they don't, just because there's so much time where I'm standing around going, well, there's nobody near me. I'm standing around doing nothing, and then suddenly somebody comes up and shoots you, and you're like, wait, okay, I'm dead now. So it's definitely an odd genre because of that, but at the same time, I definitely see the appeal, mostly because I do like roguelikes a lot. So that kind of sense of, okay, I got to start from the beginning and find all my weapons, and it kind of like, it's a weird comparison, but I feel like as somebody that likes that kind of thing where you just start from scratch and have to build yourself back up, that is pretty appealing in this kind of a game. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to stick with it or not, but it's been fun to try it out since it's so overwhelmingly popular that I've been giving it a shot.
Have you been engaging with the building much at all?
A little bit. I've been doing some building, mostly to get places or to, hey, there's this loot that's up in a higher place, so I'm going to build some stairs. I've built a couple of like very small shelters to try and protect myself. That doesn't work very well. I'm going back and forth as to if I want to buy the standard edition of the game so that I could actually, which I feel like would get more into the building aspect of it. I think it's really interesting, and it's something I'd like to. It's just that I feel like with the battle royale mechanic, you don't want to necessarily stay in the same spot for all that long. I mean, it depends, but you have to keep moving into the center and not stay on the outside. And if people are shooting at you, it's really hard to go, okay, time to build up some stuff. Oh no, I need to pull out my gun. Oh no, I'm dead. So I've just very in a small way, but not building any impressive things. Although I have seen some people's big wooden fortresses that they've built, and I'm like, this is kind of impressive considering this. You probably only spent a couple of minutes making this at most.
I think the meta is such that you just build the 3 walls with the staircase, and you just like keep building those up, and then you're protected from, because if your stairs get shot out from under you, you can fall and take fall damage and die. But if you build the 3 walls in the staircase and keep building that up, then the walls protect the staircase from getting blown up by somebody far away, and then you can get like up in the air and away from people. That's what I've seen whenever I've played or watched it. I've never seen any other structures really being used like extensively.
I played the phone version, which is probably not the best way to play that game, but I found it too hectic to try to build stuff while I was getting shot at, and I barely touched it because of that.
Yeah.
The phone game is actually my favorite way to play of the like 3 versions I've tried.
It's the only one I've tried, so I don't know. I can't compare them.
Alison, I actually have a couple of questions.
Oh, hey. Yes.
I think they're all great questions.
Sounds
so
good.
humble.
Number 1, what platform are you playing on again?
PC.
PC. 2, how spicy are you getting?
I don't know how to respond to that question, so I just won't.
It's just the spiciness levels is like, are you dropping into places with lots of people right off the bat?
Okay. I'm like,
or avoiding people.
I tend to try to avoid people at first. I have a couple of places that I tend to like to drop, but I've had enough experiences where I've dropped into places, not found any guns, and then gotten shot down immediately.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I try to avoid that because that's not really fun. But yeah, I usually want to. I don't like. I've tried a couple of times to just camp in one area, and it's not really fun. So I don't really do that. But I don't also seek out.
What if you
could
camp out in an area, turn on your phone, boot up Fortnite Mobile, play a game of Fortnite Mobile while you camp?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you could leave your headphones on, because the phone one, it's got like the visualization for like footsteps and gunshots, right? So you can play 2 games of Fortnite, double your battle royale victories. You'll catch up to Roseanne in no time.
And my final question was, what's your highest placing?
I got to 11 once, I think.
Hey,
But it's not. That was
me.
not from any quality.
was
That
gonna
was
say, I
just
think
me
that's the
not
same as
running
me.
into people,
Yeah.
and that was just mostly me being lucky. It's not by any sort of skill.
Well, if you're not interested in the building, I could recommend another free battle royale game, Radical Heights.
I do actually kind of want to give that a shot. I do. I
It's
don't think.
interesting.
I don't think I you know the more that I think about it, that I don't think I'm going to try and get PUBG, just because I do like the aesthetic of Fortnite a lot. I think it's in general, when I play shooters, I tend to go for a more stylized aesthetic. So it's
Yeah, same.
so I got really into Borderlands for a while. So I prefer something kind of like that. But
I have a more meta question for you.
yes,
How many emails have you gotten saying that people are trying to get into your account?
so far none. But
my
I'm a
God.
little bit nervous about that because
I've
I
got
One every 2 or 3 days.
yeah. There's one day I got like 4 in one day.
Oh no.
I only got
Um,
one, but I put on 2-factor after that. So
Oh.
yeah, I need to set up 2-factor because I set that up for pretty much everything. But
Now I have 2-factor on my email address. I don't put 2-factor on anything else because no one can ever reset my password.
Yeah.
Speaking of resetting passwords, Pat, what have you been playing?
That was a stretch.
A game that's not free to play, doesn't have its own account system, and has nothing to do with that segue, unfortunately. And
Hey,
you even set
there's only
yourself
so
up
many
for that
good-
segue.
There's so
You
many,
picked the
only so many good segues.
You used your last 2 words for it.
like fucking isn't in because this game the thing in Fortnite, isn't it called the storm? Like the circle that closes?
Yes.
Yes. That could have talked about the storm.
Yeah, speaking of storms.
So, yeah.
Pat, you've been playing Heroes of the Storm.
No.
Oh, Bulletstorm.
Still wrong.
Oh,
Still wrong.
Bulletstorm. I love
Oh,
Bulletstorm.
God. I've been playing a game called Maelstrom. I've actually been playing a lot of stuff. I finished Horizon finally after like 85, 90 hours of playtime. That game's really good. I wrote a review of it on my blog. But then I...
Pat, what's your blog called?
It's called Gaming and Confidence. It's at gamingandconfidence.com. I was going to save that for the end, but to keep people in suspense. But I booted up Divine Divinity, the 2002 role-playing classic. That game is still really good if you like computer role-playing games. I played a bunch of free-to-play stuff this week, some of which I'm going to write about next week. But one of the things that popped up that I primarily wanted to talk about is this game that just hit early access this week called Maelstrom, which is actually also technically a battle royale game. So that's another missed segue.
I hit the exact segue I wanted to.
But yeah, it has a really weird release schedule, which in a way almost to me is as fascinating as the game itself. Because it was a Kickstarter game, and I kind of was really confused because I missed it on Kickstarter, and it's definitely up my alley. So I was kind of surprised that I missed it. But that's because it was kickstarted about a month ago, and it was on Kickstarter for about 2 weeks. They raised $16,000, which I think they were just trying to cover the cost of listing the game on Steam and like maybe a couple months of payroll for their super small team. And then they put the game out on early access like 3 weeks after the Kickstarter launched, which was a couple days ago. I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. The game is a kind of battle royale ship game, like sailing ship. It's a fantasy theme, so you've got like 3 different factions of ships. There's humans, orcs, and dwarves right now. They have plans to add goblins and undead also. And the ships are pretty characterful and pretty unique looking. Each race has 3 different ships. And it's kind of a mix of, it's like a good mix of a battle royale game and like a World of Tanks kind of multiplayer game. I tend to think that like the World of Tanks style game is actually pretty prolific. It's not one that people play all the time, or not a. You kind of have to dig to find the stuff, but there's constant releases of like space games, boat games, whatever that follow that same format, which is just the one where you have some type of vehicle that fights other of the same type of vehicles, and there's layers and layers of grind and garbage that you have to contend with that you can buy your way through to upgrade your vehicles and unlock the next tier of vehicle. Which is, and it's kind of a shame because like games like World of Tanks and the other stuff that Wargaming makes are actually really fun to play, but the free-to-play layer is just horrific. It's really confusing and time-consuming just to manage. So anyway, Maelstrom's cool because it's not free-to-play. It's like $18 on sale right now, $20 to buy it, and it kind of clears off all of those layers of junk. So there is still progression, but there's one currency. You upgrade your boats, you use it to upgrade boats and buy boats. It's just gold. And upgrades don't provide a statistical advantage for you. You just get different options with how you load out your ship. So you, for instance, at level 5, you get, on the ship that I chose for my starting ship, you get different cannons that are short range but do more damage, as opposed to your sort of all-arounder cannons that you had before. So level 6, you can pick between whether you want to have reinforced sails that can take more damage, or if you want to be able to turn faster. So those kinds of upgrades are actually fun to kind of play with and build out. And then once you're in the game itself, it's pretty neat. It's got 2 maps so far. You sail around, you kill these little NPC ships that drop boosts that make your ship stronger. And then the goal is to kind of avoid conflict, build up your ship with these boosts. They're really simple. They boost things like armor, offense, and speed. And then you kind of get into it with other players. It's only 15 players per match, so the matches are pretty quick. And the map starts to close in, and your ship gets eaten by sea monsters if you stay outside of the zone for too long. It's just a lot of fun. It's very arcadey. It's not simulation-like at all. Each of the ships feels super different and interesting. There's still a lot of balance issues they got to work out. But given like there's no monetization inside the game once you buy it, so they seem pretty committed to making it work and making it like a really cool product. And to be like 3 weeks ago, it was on Kickstarter. It's got probably 50 hours of content to grind out, but it doesn't feel like a shitty grind. It feels like fun to level up and kind of play and get new stuff for your boats.
That sounds like a very interesting kind of take on the battle royale genre.
Yeah.
Is the like, it's like sailing boats, right? Like,
yep. Mm-hmm.
Is it like Black Flag sailing, or is it easier?
It's easier. It's still, you have to think about it, and like there's different things. Like the human ships are just sails. They just have sails on them, so they don't turn super fast. But they're like they can only move forward, and the wind is not a factor in the game. Like there's no wind direction to worry about. There are currents that you can sail in to get faster, but they're like little lanes that you can find around the map to sort of boost yourself. And then like on the flip side, though, like the dwarves don't use sails; they use engines with propellers. So like they can go forward and backwards, and they have a lot more fine control over their speed, but they're also slower overall. So yeah, it's definitely not as weighty as something like Black Flag. It's a lot more arcadey and kind of simple, I guess I'd say, in terms of the control mechanics, but there's a lot of depth in the way that you actually maneuver your ship and use your weapons.
Awesome. I really hate sailing in games because I'm not good at it and I don't care about how the wind works. So I find basically every Assassin's Creed game that's had sailing, I'm like, oh, fuck this. But yeah, that sounds super interesting, especially because as I said, I'm not the kind of person who likes Battle Royale all that much. I've kind of got into playing like a game of Fortnite before bed, but not for a little while.
The thing that I like about this one is it's technically Battle Royale, but you actually get, so as the other thing you're picking up while you're sailing around and killing NPC ships is gold, and there's also just gold sitting around. And at the end of the match, you get gold equal to the amount of gold you picked up over the match, whether or not you win. So you're always progressing and always getting a lot of ticks up on your, like, and you use the gold then to buy new ships and to buy upgrades. So even though it's a battle royale game, you don't feel like you need to win it. I've won one game out of the probably 25 that I played, and it was really fun and it felt good to win. But whenever I lose, I don't really get that mad because it's like, queue up for another one. I got 5K more gold towards the 25,000 gold upgrade I want to buy.
Sounds like Rogue Legacy in that way.
Yeah, kind of. It's definitely less punishing, and there's more of a progression because there's no like weapon pickups or anything. So you're actually bringing your built out ship into the game, so they can add a lot of progression, non-cosmetic progression elements outside of the game.
Speaking of, have any of us kept up with Sea of Thieves?
No, I didn't play it again.
Yeah, I booted it like once more and played it for a little while. And,
I uninstalled.
Yep, I will check it out when they add more stuff.
I played it for 30 minutes with Pat once and was like, "This is great," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm alright."
I grinded out to level 10 on those things, but once it was clear that the quests don't get more interesting as you level up. I wasn't expecting them to change much, but I was hoping they would at least add a couple like layers of challenge onto them, or something. But they don't. Yeah. They're exactly the same forever. So
I had a lot of fun playing with Pat, and then trying to play by myself was not fun at all.
I'm still incredibly surprised that's a $60 game.
Yeah.
Like, that's a free-to-play game to me.
I think Maelstrom is better than Sea of Thieves, and it's $18 on Steam Early Access and not made by a massive game developer and publisher.
But does the water look better?
No, not even close.
The only two games where the water looks really incredible, Sea of Thieves and Final Fantasy X on the PS2.
Missed.
Alex, did you have anything you wanted to say before I ran into my game? Because you looked like you were ready to go.
Who, me? No, I was just talking about.
You looked like you were going to say something.
No, I'm just saying that Mist has beautiful water too, and Erica can
it
attest
does.
to that.
And also, before Sam, I wanted to point out when I started my thing that did you know that they are still putting out content for Lego Dimensions?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's completely insane.
I think that they announced that they were stopping development on Lego Dimensions like end of last year. So a lot of the stuff they were developing probably still has to come out.
Also, I wasn't going to actually play Lego Island again, and then I remembered that it has jet skis.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and skateboards.
Fair enough.
Speaking of things that are fair enough, I've been playing Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
How mountainous is your cocaine right now?
It's pretty good. So this game, like, I had no expectations for it. Like, people have talked about like, oh, it's got really good support, and like yeah, but like Ubisoft are supporting For Honor, man. You know, like Ghost Recon Wildlands is something that I had absolutely no expectations for, and no excitement for whatsoever. The closest I have come to purchasing Ghost Recon Wildlands was when it came free with something else, and I decided not to buy it because I didn't think it was worth it. Ghost Recon Wildlands is currently on free weekend right now, so if you listen to this podcast or you're watching this game stream live, you should download it. It's a lot of fun. Ghost Recon Wildlands is exactly the game that I went to Far Cry 5 for. So it feels like playing GTA Online. So if anyone has enjoyed GTA Online, it's basically like the story's kind of meh, is nothing, and you're just like zooming around this country, like shooting dudes and just having a great time. Also, because I'm playing it like over a year after the game's come out, I have like 3,000 Uplay points. I just bought everything on the Uplay store, and my Ghost Recon guy is rolling around dressed as an assassin from Assassin's Creed. So there's like all these realistic soldiers, and then I'm wearing like a full white like robe bodysuit thing with like a full face mask and a little white hood. I'm using a gun from the Division, and my pistol is like a blunderbuss from Assassin's Creed. It's extremely funny.
Can you wear Aiden Pierce's iconic hat from Watch Dogs?
I think you actually can get that item in that game.
That's
I'm
amazing.
almost positive.
There's a lot of Ubisoft references in the equipment. One of the outfits is the full Sam Fisher outfit from Splinter Cell Blacklist. Like three lensed binocular hat, like sneaking suit, like literally skin tight sneaking suit.
They just added that.
It's real fun. Like I can imagine, like I played it a load today with like one headphone in, listening to a podcast, and like the fun that I had, like completely breaking how like the game wanted me to do a mission. Like I was doing a side mission, which I failed because the one of my AI partners took too long to get into a car. But next to the car that I was trying to get into, I like turned the camera around, and there was a helicopter with a Gatling gun out the side of it. And I was like, all right. So I went and did this like level 3 story mission with a helicopter and a Gatling gun. And like I'm flying the helicopter, my AI partners are just mowing down people with guns out of this helicopter, which like no one can even touch. And like it's just so much fun. It's like I said before, it reminds me a lot of playing the heists in GTA Online.
Or like kind of with like a Just Cause 2 kind of vibe.
It's more realistic than Just Cause 2, which isn't difficult. I'm playing it on the lowest difficulty, which is how I start every game. I've only played about 3 hours, but like it's just way more fun than I was expecting, and like I can see why Jeff was talking about it, like Jeff from Giant Bomb, who we've mentioned many times before. And in the quick look, when they first ever released the game, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna finish this game." Yeah, like Ghost Recon Wildlands is the game that I wanted to play when I was playing Far Cry. Like you can drive from place to place without being mobbed by enemies or cougars or bears in Ghost Recon Wildlands. That you can drive through enemy bases and they'll be like, why's that guy got a Gatling gun on his gun? Oh well. Like
the weird
they don't
thing
really
about,
care.
Like the weirdest part about that game to me is like there's all this dumb shit in it. I've played quite a bit of that game. I didn't finish it. I convinced some friends to buy it over the Steam sale. And like the two things I have to say about that game, one, there's actually a pretty tactical game at the core of it. Like you can die real fast in normal difficulty and in the higher difficulties.
Yeah.
And it takes like a shot to drop enemies. So like it's so weird that it is so goofy and crazy with a lot of the stuff that you can get in it, because when you actually raid an outpost, you have to be careful. Like you gotta tag everybody and be kind of methodical about it at anything above the easier difficulty. The other thing is that like that game is definitely best with other people, but you need to get the right other people, because I ran into a problem with my friends where we had one guy who was like guys, let's stop. Everybody pull up the map. Everybody throw out a drone. Let's tag every single enemy. Let's carefully, meticulously pick our way through that base. So he wanted to do like each outpost, of which there are like 150 of them, as like a 45-minute piece of raid content. And like then on the other end of the spectrum, there was my other friend who was like, I already have half the guns in this game after a weekend of playing it, and I already know how every outpost works. I'm just going to run in and kill everyone while you guys stand out there and look at the map. And then like my other friend who got to play one time per week and was like, wait, you guys did this one already? Damn it, that sucks. So like you got to have the right group of people that have the right mentality. I love playing games with all those guys, but like it was not the right thing. And then the other thing too is that like I'll be interested to hear what you think about it after you play a few more hours of it, because I played probably 20 hours of it, and we killed the Predator. I spent real money on that Predator DLC, like the Predator cosmetic stuff in the store, because I thought it was really cool. like I bought the Predator Gauntlet that gives you a unique melee animation for like $5. But that game gets really repetitive after you play it for like 5 or 6 hours. Every single outpost feels like, okay, tag the guy, shoot him. And we started to feel after we played it a bunch that it was like, everybody get in the helicopter. Where are we going? Oh, I want this mod. Okay, we'll go to this base. That's where it's at. Land. All right, tag everybody, kill everybody. 20 minutes later, get back in the helicopter. Where are we going now? This other base. Okay, it's felt really repetitive. So I don't know. It's like a mixed bag, I think.
But the character creator has options for a cowboy hat and a cigar.
Like I
So,
said, it's a mixed bag. There's some stuff that's really good.
I literally made this character. Like I didn't go into the Uplay store and unlock stuff when I was making the character. I just made it with what was available. And one of the options for face accessories is a constantly smoking lit cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all these cutscenes with these extremely seriously looking like Division NPCs basically, and then there's me with like a handlebar mustache and a giant cigar and a brown leather cowboy hat. Like, yeah, let's clean up El Salvador.
That game has some of the weirdest stuff in it. Also, I don't want to get too graphic with some of the. There's some stuff in the story of that game that they just talk about. They don't really portray it, but like, man, some of the stuff the guy on the radio says is really messed up. Some of the stuff,
Yeah,
you hear
the
in
radio
missions
stuff
is
is messed
super
up. So
Like,
far.
do you,
I was like, what the hell am I listening to?
like, do you mean messed up grim?
No, I mean messed up like just he tells a joke that's like kind of an aristocrat style joke, but like not with the like real like the good like aristocrats, but super not funny. Just
the
gross.
radio guys are like all working for the drug dealers, and
Yeah.
like
And
they're
it's
all, like
also
they're
kinda
talking about
racist.
how the drug dealers are really environmentally conscious and they want to save the future, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds alright. Get out of the car, shoot 8 million dudes, get back in car.
And then there's just like a lot of weird sex stuff that's just described, it's not portrayed. But I was playing with a friend and I was like, did they just say the thing that I heard? Did you hear the same dialogue I just heard? Because that was not something I would have ever thought to hear in a video game, but definitely not in a Tom Clancy video game.
Yeah.
Just really weird. Really, really weird.
As someone whose Game of the Year 2016 is Watch Dogs 2, I'm having a lot of fun so far with Ghost Recon Wildlands, and I think I'm going to continue to play it with some friends tomorrow. I had to play solo today because everybody was extremely busy, but I'm going to get some hours in tomorrow. And also, fun fact, Ubisoft bought the rights to the name Tom Clancy from Tom Clancy. And
Isn't it Tom? No, wait, no, hold on. Didn't they buy Tom Clancy's?
No, they bought the rights to his name to the effect that he had to pay them for the rights when he published books.
Wow.
What?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
I
Well,
thought they could just use Tom
He
Clancy.
then died. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say
yeah.
rest in peace, Tom Clancy. But
Yeah, rip Tom Clancy. But like, he had to pay them for the rights to publish his own books, but apparently he got an extremely large amount of money from it. So that's a fun story.
Maybe they thought he was going to be alive longer.
Speaking of fun, let's go on to the quiz.
we need to find new ways to transition.
Fine.
We've all done quite well today. We've all spoken for roughly 10 minutes on our games. Does everybody have your answer sheets ready?
No, I forgot them in my move, so I'm going to be using my telephone.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
I got mine.
I have to continue to make new ones every week because I lose them every week.
Pat, yes, I've heard that dialogue and I thought it was super weird. It happens like 10 minutes into the game.
Yep.
Pat sent me a message because he did not want to discuss it on the podcast.
There's just some weird shit in that game. You should look it up.
I just read
They're
it
like-
and what?
Yeah, they're like, oh, there's one, and I'm like, They're like, no, there's two, and I'm like, oh, this car must be owned by these two pervs.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Yeah.
Quiz time.
Yay.
So
I hope I
I'm
didn't spoil one of your questions.
How many are in the glove box?
Oh no.
That's next week's quiz question, guys. Come on. So, as usual, there are 5 questions. I don't know who's in the lead because I still have yet to tabulate the answers.
You're just making this worse for yourself.
Yeah.
Andre has given away the answer to one of these questions so far today, and almost 2 have been given away. So, no excuses to get at least 2 points. I almost
gave one away. I got it wrong.
I think you'll get this one right. I think everyone will.
I always forget which order they are in.
Question 1. Gnog was published by Double Fine, but who was the developer? Is it A, co-op mode, co-op spelled with a K? Is it B, Celery Games?
With a K?
Is it C, Wreckings Builder? I think I pronounced that right. Everybody, your answers ready? 3, 2, 1, show them. Everyone put A, you got the right answer. I tricked you all with C. So that's Erica.
I was wondering if that was.
Alex. Sometimes I like to be tricky.
I was gonna guess B if it wasn't C, so I mean that would have been wrong either way.
Yeah.
I like Celery Games.
With a K.
That's
Yeah,
my
with a
new
K.
game development company. Already copyrighted because I said it on a podcast. So
Yep.
Yeah, send a letter to yourself.
Write it down and mail it to yourself.
Well,
yeah,
you
I'll
can
mail
just
it to myself
you
before
can
Alex
just
puts it up.
just take this podcast, put it on a USB stick, and mail that to yourself.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna just upload it to a torrent site and then have somebody else seed it and then torrent it myself, and then I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
It's illegal, and we have to sue you for millions of dollars.
I just love celery. So that's why it came to my head when I was making up fake answers for this question.
What are our feelings on what's it called? Ants on a log? Like that's when you have celery and peanut butter and raisins on it?
Raisins are gross and bad.
I like all of those 3 things, but I think that I would prefer them separately.
Peanut
Don't
butter is
really.
my favorite food.
I don't mind celery, but I don't want to eat like a giant thing of celery. So
Peanut butter, chocolate chips, and apple is better than ants on a log.
That
What
sounds
about
good?
That sounds
Smooth
good.
or crunchy peanut butter, Erica?
I prefer crunchy, but I'll eat smooth if that's all that's available.
Different things for different uses, man.
As I've always had bad teeth, I've much preferred smooth. I'm looking forward to, now I have new teeth, being able to have crunchy peanut butter.
Andre, you look like you're dying over there.
Question 2, true or false? A being true, B being false. Kingdom Hearts 2:2.8 Final Chapter Prologue Collection features a game called Kingdom Hearts: Birth by Sleep: Fragmentary Passage, which is a canonical sequel to Kingdom Hearts: Birth by Sleep.
Jesus
A
Christ.
true, B false.
Oh my god.
I can read that again if anyone needs.
No.
I think we're good.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Okay, so it's 3, 2, 1. Everyone gets a point. Well done.
Yay.
Because that was, yeah, there's no way that's not true.
It almost changed the name of the game very slightly, just to confuse everyone. But I'm not.
I listened really closely to make sure you didn't because I thought you were going to.
Yeah, that's what I thought was good.
Which country does Ghost Recon Wildlands take place in? Is it A, Bolivia, B, Uganda, C, Madagascar?
Wait, what was A?
A is Bolivia,
Okay.
which is a country in South America. I think. 3, 2, 1, show them.
Oh.
Everyone who put A, you are correct.
Alex.
Everyone but
Oh.
Alex.
I have no
Alice-
idea, so.
Allison likes to move it, move it.
Yeah.
No, fuck you. I don't like that.
I'm looking forward to hearing the character voiced by David Schwimmer. I'm assuming he's one of the guys who drives the Lamborghini.
Oh man, if the Cask of Madagascar was in the next Ghost Recon game, I would definitely play it.
Okay, this question is not as long as the Kingdom Hearts question, but also long, and I had to edit it down because I thought it would take too long to say. This is a little
Excuse me.
spoiler for our news section. Shenmue 1 is Chapter 1. A manga set between Shenmue and Shenmue 2 is Chapter 2. Chapters 3 to 5 are told in Shenmue 2. But how many chapters does Yu Suzuki plan to release in total for the entire Shenmue story? Is it A, 8, B, 16, C, 11? Answers again. A is 8, B is 16, and C is 11. Everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, show them. Everybody put A. You are correct. That's just Erica.
I thought it was 9.
He
know,
originally
I
said
guess.
16 many, many years ago, although it may be apocryphal that is actually something he said, but he's only ever said 11 since 2010. So, and that's his official answer in a Reddit AMA recently.
I feel like everyone who said B should get half a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree. Question 5. What's the name of the protagonist in Lego Island?
Oh, hell yeah.
Is it A, Nick Brick? Is it B, Bill Ding? Is it C, Pepperoni?
Oh my god.
All 3 are characters in Lego Island.
True, they are.
I appreciate this very much.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Ah,
Everyone who
sorry,
puts
I
C.
dropped mine.
Oh, come on, Erica. Okay,
I'm
we're
here.
gonna believe Erica.
What the fuck?
Listen,
Everyone but-
I got no points last week. Don't be mad.
No, I'm not mad about that.
Okay.
The amount of pepperoni being a
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni's a great character and a great name.
Dude,
No,
he's the
How-
son of
how
Mama
do
and
you-
Papa Briccoloni.
I guessed that one because Sam's a vegetarian and I didn't think he would come up with that one on his own.
I didn't come up with any of them. They're all real Lego Island characters. Bill Ding and Nick Brick are all Lego Island characters.
Nick Brick rules.
how do you not have like your generic Lego protagonist name something stupid like Nick Brick?
Nick Brick is pretty
They're
good.
all stupid.
He's in the game. Nick Brick is a character.
Yeah.
He's just
No,
not
I'm
a
just
main
he's the
character.
cool guy.
So is
That
the
is totally like a protagonist name.
Yep.
Yeah, but Pepperoni is like a kid. He's like a young. Nick Brick is more like a,
Okay.
an
I've
adult.
never
Like a
played
wizard.
Lego Island. I've never played it, so
In Lego Island 3 Extreme Stunts, do we play as Nick Brick?
No, he plays Pepperoni. Fine. This is the main character.
Let's move on to news. Speaking of characters,
Wait, I'm gonna drop off.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I
Erica
have,
hates the news story we're about to talk about, so she can't really listen to it. She's
Yeah.
too angry about it.
It is
I have
offensive.
really bad asthma, and with the flu is making breathing hard, and that's important. So
Well, I'm glad that you were able to kind of reclaim your lead in the quiz.
Yeah.
yeah, killed it. I told you.
Only
I
came
would.
for the quiz.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna watch
Right.
it.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Meet you next week.
Bye.
You can find her streaming on Zupa Dupa.
And yeah, you can follow her on lots of services at Erica, which is AIRECUH, from memory.
Yeah. And rest in peace, Erica. Never forgotten.
So I'm going to read the headline. King of Kong's Billy Mitchell's high scores wiped out by Twin Galaxies.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Mitchell has been banned from Twin Galaxies in terms of he's no longer allowed to submit any further high scores. This is following an investigation starting in February, which is a challenge against his 2010 high score, which is the first ever over 1 million point score in the Donkey Kong community. The challenge is basically that he didn't do this on a legit arcade board, which is Twin Galaxies ruling, and that he used MAME, which has different timings, different frame stuff, and it's kind of spottable when you look at it on like HD, which is, I believe, where the new investigation came from. Now, Mitchell, many of you may know, is a Donkey Kong and Pac-Man champion. He is very good at video games. Also, American flag tie wearer and hot sauce emperor.
Emperor is a good way to put it.
That's his exact job title.
Yeah, he has a hot sauce empire, so hot sauce emperor. And he was the villain in the documentary King of Kong, where he did some shady ass shit on film.
Ew.
And a lot of people were not surprised to see that he continued to do shady shit.
Where's the hyphen in shady ass shit?
There's 2 hyphens. But they're not where you'd expect them to be.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
So my favorite part of this story was the one that I linked to you guys was from Variety.
Yeah.
It was from a very mainstream news outlet that was covering Billy Mitchell, MAME, Twin Galaxies, all this kind of stuff. That was so weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of articles in really mainstream places. Like there's another article where they interviewed the other person featured in King of Kong, Steve Levy.
Yep.
But that's another Variety article. So
yeah, it's so weird.
That movie was big. There's a huge documentary when it came out.
Oh yeah, it had very it got pretty well received, and it was very well watched. So I actually rewatched. Yeah, I actually rewatched King of Kong the day the news came out. I rented it, and it is shocking. Well, not shocking, but I forgot just how much of the movie is based off of Billy Mitchell complaining about other people submitting incorrect scores. And it's so much of it is him going like, oh, well, people need to do this live so that otherwise how can we be sure if they're doing this correctly? We can't know. And he's obsessed with like the other guy focused on it, Steve Levy. Oh, he's using an official board, but he was given this official board by somebody I don't like, therefore this can't be valid. And it's like it's still a really entertaining movie to watch, and actually almost a little bit more entertaining now that we realized, oh, he's actually Billy Mitchell is actually the one who is cheating the system.
Yeah,
but
so it was almost all projection.
It had to have been, but it's really it's astonishing just how much of the movie is focused on that. So I feel like I mean to the point where people in the movie are straight up saying, you know, it's weird that he needs everybody to do this live, but then he's never done this live ever. He did perform or play Donkey Kong live at an 80s competition for Life magazine, but other than that he's pretty much just submitted tapes, so it's hard to tell how much of it is actually accurate and how much of it was using MAME. But I totally recommend checking out the movie if you haven't, or if you've watched it but it's been a while. Watching it again with this knowledge is actually really pretty fun.
I remember when it came out, it was like everyone was like, "Have you seen this yet? Have you seen this yet? Have you seen this yet?" Like all of my friends, whether they were big into video games before that or not, it was a big deal.
It's really entertaining.
It's worth watching. It's good.
Alex, were you saying you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
It's good. I think Indie Game the movie is a more interesting.
Yeah, Indie Game the movie made me cry actually. So I
Indie
would
Game
recommend that movie
too. That's a good one to recommend as well.
It's hard to watch now with Jonathan Blow, but
yeah.
The first week with my current fiance, we were together. We watched Indie Game the movie.
Andre, what were you saying?
It sounds like Billy Mitchell is the king of dongs.
Oh.
no.
I don't even want to
Alex is gone. He left.
Alex apparently needs a
Alex
moment.
leave.
I waited my turn.
just making sure that we haven't broken all the 5 rules of podcasting. So we talked about simple and clean. We talked about Goofy and Pluto. We talked about
Pornhub.
dongs. I think we're still good. I think we've got 2 more seals to break before we have to stop podcasting forever, and also so does everyone else. Does anyone have anything else that they want to talk about in terms of Kings and or Kongs?
Got some new lotion.
No. The answer is no.
Isn't
Cool. Okay.
Isn't Billy Mitchell not even aren't Steve Lee and Billy Mitchell not even near the top of the leaderboard anymore? They're still on Twin Galaxies, but they're not even top 10 or something.
No, they have been for a while.
Yeah, I think from what I understand, after King of Kong released, it incited a big interest in being on the Donkey Kong scoreboard. So there's a lot of people that were just really interested in it after that movie. So yeah, they're no longer.
So they did themselves then. Okay.
Yeah. So Wes Copeland has a score that I don't know if it's beatable. He got a perfect game, so he made it to the final board without dying. So on his first life, which I think I believe when that happened, I remember that being I just looked it up again, but I remember that being unbeatable, I think. But I could be wrong. I'm not a Donkey Kong expert.
I guess it would be time from there on out, how long you get there.
Yeah.
The only thing that I was going to say is that now Billy Mitchell's all of his scores forever have been removed from the Twin Galaxies. Now makes Steve Wiebe officially the first person to ever hit 1 million points in Donkey Kong. So whilst he's not the current record holder, he's kind of got that in his pocket now, which he never did before.
Yeah.
Maybe he can start a hot sauce empire.
Yeah. I
Didn't
think
they?
he's going for cold sauce.
Didn't this call a lot of attention to Twin Galaxies? Because they're the official people who report to Guinness Book of World Records, and now people are oh, maybe not, we can't trust anything they say.
Yeah, and also this pretty recently as well, there's another famous retro game player, Todd Rogers, who was his records were completely erased too, because he, as it turns out, probably just made up a bunch of his records. There's a lot of really interesting videos out there about it. But he had a lot of records in a lot of old Atari games, and people actually went into the games and figured out that these scores he had were actually impossible to get. There's no way that you could get that score. So he was after all of this, he was removed from Twin Galaxies. So it's within a couple of months, 2 of Twin Galaxies' most famous high scorers have been stripped of their records. So it does kind of call things into question.
Next up on the news docket, I've got 2 things that are left to talk about in news. One is a actual new game announcement, and one is a rumor of a new game in development. New games are my favorite way to end a podcast, and these are our last 2 things to look at. First off, we might as well cover the officially announced game, and then we can talk a little bit more about some rumors. So officially announced for Xbox and PlayStation 4, Shenmue HD Collection.
And PC.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it was PC too, but...
Yeah, it has been announced for Windows PC as well. No official date apart from 2018. Sega is referring to this as the definitive version of the games. They have referred to it having modern features such as fully scalable screen resolution, choice of modern or classic control schemes. I will never play with that classic control scheme ever.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
PC graphics options, an updated user interface, and the option to enjoy either the original Japanese or English voiceovers, which is going to be interesting for Shenmue 2, which I don't think got localized in terms of voiceover.
It didn't.
Did they add a sailor waypoint option?
I don't believe that there will be any waypoints in the game.
Are the facial
were.
facial expressions DLC?
No, the facial expressions are built into the game, all three of them. So we talked a little bit earlier about how everyone but me hates Shenmue. But
I don't hate it. I just have no desire to play it because it looks terrible.
I was probably playing up my hate for it a little bit. I don't really hate it that much.
I supported the Kickstarter for Shenmue 3 because I liked 1 enough.
Me
but
too.
I kind of don't care anymore.
Yeah, I've never played it, and I've been going back and forth on whether I want to actually get this because it doesn't seem like a game that's necessarily aged the best, but it's one of those games too where I feel like I should have played it, so I'm not sure.
Is Tom in Shenmue 2?
I can't remember anything about
the hot
Shenmue.
dog man. If Tom the hot dog man is not in Shenmue 2, then what are they even doing?
Well, Shenmue 2 is set in a completely different country to Shenmue 1.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
Your point?
yeah. You make a compelling argument.
You're right. Yeah. Multiple characters do reoccur, so I guess I don't remember a lot of the minor characters.
You're telling me Tom can't put his hot dog truck on a boat and sail across the sea to China and deliver you?
It's set in like the early 80s from memory as well. So
Yeah, boats then.
I mean, look,
I don't see why. No, I'm now on Andre's side. I don't see how any of this.
I've seen Spider-Man and the Dragon's Challenge. I know they had boats in those days. But yeah, Alison, you and me will play through Shenmue 1 and 2 together. I will do a PS4 share play.
Oh no.
Enjoy.
Every second of it.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know what you would call that. I can't think of a good series title for it. But yeah, I played Shenmue 1. I've played Shenmue 1 like 4 times, maybe 5. I played the entirety in a weekend the first time I got it, and then I slowly replayed it for the next like 3 months, like a couple of hours every weekend, because my Dreamcast lived at my dad's house when I was a teenager, and I had 2 games for it, which were Crazy Taxi and Shenmue. So when I got bored of Crazy Taxi, I started playing Shenmue. And I played a lot of Shenmue, and I bought an original Xbox to play Shenmue 2. I only played Shenmue 2 once, so I'm really looking forward to this collection coming out to being able to play that again. And Shenmue 3 apparent. Also, Shenmue 3 is supposed to come out this year.
It's supposed to.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if it's coming out this year.
I think it'll come out this year. I think it's going to be vastly different than what a lot of people were expecting in
I bet
terms of scope.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be
10-hour
way.
game.
It's going to be super small scale compared to what people
I
want.
don't think it's going to be a 10-hour game. I think it's going to be a 4-hour game. If that.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that especially with a lot of these high interest Kickstarter games, I feel like there's always going to be some level of disappointment just because people are getting their hopes up and have their memories of Shenmue that might not necessarily be what Shenmue is now.
Oh,
yeah.
Or does the opposite happen? And like with the reception and everyone holds it up like, oh my god, it's so amazing because it's Shenmue 3, and they just want it to be good, so they just say it's good.
I think it's going to be 10 hours, and I think it's going to be 10 hours with a shit ton of reused assets, like a really small area, very much like the original Shenmue is really small. I think we're going to be looking at something smaller than the original Shenmue, but where a lot of things take place in the same very small area. That's my personal theory.
I think it depends on if they do VO for a lot of stuff. I don't see them recording enough VO for a 10-hour story. So that's the part that I think, I mean, and let's put it this way. If it's 4-hour stories worth of voiceover work and 10 hours to actually see it all, that's a bad video game.
Yeah.
Fun fact about the original Shenmue. I've done a lot of fun facts today. I think I should keep trying to keep that up. Fun fact: in the original Shenmue, Yu Suzuki made an edict that all the English voice actors for the English version of Shenmue had to live in Japan.
Oh, really?
And because of the size of the cast, the casting director said that he cast every person that spoke fluent English who said they were a voice actor and lived in Japan.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
That's
He said
hilarious.
they were reusing actors for different characters because they could not find anyone else.
Sorry, what was
That's
that?
amazing.
Normal, though. That's not like a weird. That's just people can do a different voice, right? I don't think that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, that does happen. It's just weird that he's localizing it completely to only Japan.
I mean,
Are
like, yeah, that is odd, but
Are you in Shenmue 3, Andre?
yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, why would I want to play Shenmue when I live it every day?
Would you live it?
So,
Andre, actually, I don't know if you'll notice, but he hasn't expressed an opinion about Shenmue, and that's because he is in Shenmue 4.
4. Wow.
Yeah.
Was that Kickstarted too?
It's actually on Indiegogo.
It was it was a secret.
It's on Fig.
Starter.
No, it's on Indiegogo because that way we can still get the money even if we don't reach the goal.
Oh. I don't know.
And all they're paying is Andre's voice acting fee.
And actually, it's just Andre's game.
Yeah.
Hey, did we? Speaking of Kickstarter games, did we ever talk about The Good Life?
We did. We talked about
Okay,
it last
I
week.
couldn't remember if we
I
did.
thought we did. Maybe we didn't.
I don't think.
No,
I think.
we talked about that other sweary game.
Yeah, you're right.
I just want to say, I already supported The Good Life because that looks amazing. It's a murder mystery where the town turns into cats and dogs at the night.
It's not looking good for
Oh.
that Kickstarter either, unfortunately.
No, it's at like
So-
60 or 70%.
It's not even that. It's under
it was
50%.
Oh,
Oof.
How much time is left on it?
20 days,
20
but
days.
usually you get the biggest push right at the beginning and right at the end. So
Yeah,
unless
so-
they can really recover at the
Yeah.
end.
yeah.
I've heard that you need 70% at the beginning because you get 30% at the end.
Yep, that's usually the rule.
Fairly accurate, yeah.
They went to Fig with that and then didn't meet their goal. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
a bummer.
Mm.
I hope
Well,
it
they've done
happens.
Fig, they've done Kickstarter. Next up, Indiegogo.
Anyways,
Go
I
Funny.
appreciate that they're actually scoping, like they're asking for a lot of money rather
Mhm.
than saying we only need $100,000 to make this game and then having it stuck in development hell and getting canceled because they didn't ask for enough money.
yeah, and then when it comes out, they just kind of poop out something that's not great.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he said there's like co-development deals in place. They just need to get the money to get the other money. I think,
Yeah,
or
it's-
something. But
and
yeah.
it's weird because that trailer, like, it looks like it's a lot of it looks done. Like
Yeah, totally.
the environments look good, the characters look good.
The art
Yeah.
style is super cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's like a origami papercraft kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it might end up getting made. It just might end up like a Deadly Premonition or a D4, where it's not. Yep, there's something there, but also there's something there.
Speaking of which, I've actually had a deadly premonition this week, and it's that 2K is making a new Bioshock game.
Hey.
Alex left again.
That's not even like whatever. Who cares?
It's-
God, I can't remember his name now.
What,
They
Ken
put
Levine?
out a song called Chun Li, and it's not even about Chun Li.
It has some really good Chun-Li lyrics. It has some really good
Okay.
lyrics.
That is better news
So-
than they might be making
No,
a
no,
new
no, no.
Bioshock.
No,
Bioshock-
the reason the Bioshock news is good is because it's the rumors there's the Mafia 3 team that's making it.
So
That's
And it's
actually
from,
a
it's from
cool
Jason
team.
Schreier as
Okay,
well.
so
So,
Yeah.
reliable.
two questions. Is Ken Levine involved or are any of the people from Irrational involved?
I don't think so.
No.
Ken Levine was like the only person from Irrational who didn't get canned.
Yeah, like him and like 5
But
others
he
or something.
He left.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Didn't he
still working
leave?
on
He
it.
started his own game company?
But he
Or
started
something
another
else?
company within 2K.
Yeah, I thought it was in
I think.
2K.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hangar 13 developed Mafia 3. So basically, in a Kotaku story by Jason Schreier, it's just talking about Mafia 3 developer Hangar 13 and how it's kind of fucked. He made like a little footnote in that story that there is a studio that's top secret and is next door to Hangar 13 that's currently in the early stages of work on a brand new Bioshock game. Apparently they're keeping it extremely small, and so like super small team, super agile, and they are being extremely secretive about it. And what they're trying to do is find the hook for the game and then build out from there. It sounds like an interesting way to go about it. I'd be interested to just like see if they could give the Minerva's Den people some money and like let them make a BioShock game.
Minerva's Den people currently work mostly at Fulbright and
Yep.
made Gone Home and Tacoma.
Yep, exactly. I don't know if I care about another BioShock. I thought BioShock Infinite.
You say that, Alex, but what if it's the Vita game that got promised and never released?
Shit. So it's Dave Lang.
Almost certainly the
BioShock
Vita game.
Infinite on Vita.
If this
They
is
found the hook.
if this is Dave, dude,
They announced the game forever ago. It's about time it finally comes out. Like, of course they're developing a new BioShock.
Don't think it was
Andre.
ever officially cancelled.
Andre, you know Iron Galaxy was supposed to make that, right?
Yeah.
So if this is Dave Lang's BioShock, then I'm 100% in.
It's the exact same as the original BioShock, but everyone's wearing FUBU.
I was a pretty big, aside from some major ball dropping in terms of some of its cultural, the ways that it tried to say something. I thought Infinite was a really cool game. I really liked the mind bending stuff that it did at the end, even though most people think that stuff was terrible.
I enjoyed that.
I like
it was-
the end a lot too.
Yeah, I like that too. And I mean, whatever you say, whatever issues the story has in BioShock Infinite, it is a really beautiful game,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's like
Very interesting.
there are very few games that make me feel like this kind of sense of awe that I did the first time I started up BioShock Infinite, and it was just so gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate the fact that we talk a lot now about how games should try to have more of a voice. Like Far Cry 5 got criticized because they sold this
Sucked.
package that was going to be political, and then it wasn't. And there's no doubt that Infinite did it the wrong way. It made mistakes in the way that it tried to portray that stuff.
Mhm.
But they tried fairly earnestly to do it, even though they didn't do it well. And I appreciate their willingness and the stuff Ken Levine was talking about in the lead up. They did it wrong, and if they had maybe hired a more diverse staff of writers, they wouldn't have had that problem. But I think that game tried a lot of cool stuff and was willing to fail. And it failed at some of those things, but I think it succeeded at a lot of them too. So
I think the story overall was kind of a failure. It's kind of a whiff, but I think it nailed it with the characters. Between Elizabeth, the Songbird, the twins, everything like that.
And I think there is a good story in there, even though the actual finished product was too clouded by a bunch of stuff that it didn't need, really.
Yeah. Sure.
But I'm really excited to see what a team like the Mafia team will do. If you haven't played Mafia 3, that game is awesome. It's a
very interesting game as well.
It's a little bit grindy and repetitive, and I can see how that would be a turnoff for people, but there's some really cool concepts and themes narratively in that game that I thought was really cool. I'm interested to see what they can do with with something off the wall like BioShock.
Totally. Do you think it's underwater, or do you think it's in the air, or do you think it's in space?
I think it's in Rapture.
It needs to be something new to me.
I think it has to be something new too.
I agree, but I
hope
think
it's
it
something
would
new.
Aspen, Colorado.
I mean, Rapture's really cool, but we've seen Rapture.
I hope
There's
they
no-
don't set it in Rapture. I just worry
Yeah.
that 2K is going to put too much pressure on them to do it there because it didn't
Yeah.
it didn't work when they took it out of Rapture.
So you're gonna play through the whole game, and it's never gonna address where it is. At the end, it's gonna zoom out, and you're gonna see the city, Washington D.C.
And then you find out it's in a snow globe, and it pulls
God.
further out.
And what,
God,
man? If it's set in
And
Aspen,
Snow globe
if it's set
is
in
on
Aspen,
a
though,
cat's necklace, Orion's belt.
if it's set in
A cat's
Aspen,
necklace.
what if they go
And the cat
frog
curls up on
fractions?
the Oval Office desk.
Frog fractions?
What if they look? Because if it's set in Aspen, Colorado, what if they go frog fractions with it, and it's secretly a Dumb and Dumber game?
no.
Yeah, I love frog fractions, so anything that's
Dumb and Dumber. That car was a dog.
It was. It had a tongue.
I don't like this.
If I was them, I would set it on the underground, not like the London Underground style, like
Red
I
Faction.
don't know. Yeah, like Metro maybe, make it less pretty.
Like
Bioshock games have been very pretty in the past, and maybe they could be gritty instead.
What about like space?
I like the idea of space, but that's mostly because if you tell me this is going to be a game and it's set in space, that automatically makes me a lot more interested.
The thing about
Well,
that is that game
Shenmue
exists
4
and it's
set in
called
space.
Prey.
well,
Like,
no, the thing is that game exists and it's called System Shock 2.
Well, that too, yes, yeah. I mean, more recently it's Prey, but yes.
But like that's the origin of Bioshock. I don't think they can go back to that.
No, yeah. I mean, if they did
Especially
space,
when
but did it,
there's another System Shock kind of
yeah.
That could be
I
alright.
think
that may exist, maybe not.
If they did a really weird take on space, though, where it was like not a space station, not a colony on another planet, but like literally like I don't know, like
Or just like on the moon, but they do it in like that steampunky Bioshock,
Right,
like
yeah.
old-timey, not like futuristic
like
sci-fi.
that was why they went to the moon, and that's why we went to the moon in the 60s was to like if they played up that angle of like there's
But-
Russians and Americans on the moon.
Didn't-
If they did it really, really well, I could see that maybe
Didn't
over.
Wolfenstein already kind of touch on it though?
Yes.
True, but also that's like whatever. Like if every game didn't do something because another game did it first.
Good point.
I think if they do a different, like a new setting, that Sam's probably right. I think it'll be like an underground, but I don't see it as being like, I see it as being more like, what's that City of Ember, that movie, or that book, I should say. That's like the underground society that's trying to live out the nuclear apocalypse. I don't know. It's just kind of like steampunky looking and not in a metro system. It was like a cavern underground.
Or the latter half of Fantastic Mr. Fox.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Matrix. That's
God,
actually
yeah.
I wasn't gonna
what I
invoke
was
that
thinking
one.
of. Like maybe a world that isn't nice to look at, but is so nasty to look at it's cool. If that makes sense. Like the kind of Dark Souls and Bloodborne are like that. Like they're disgusting, but they're so disgusting they look cool as hell.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see something new from Bioshock. I think we've seen
I would also say that I think they could do something set in, if they set it in Rapture, but before everything went bad, and like the whole game was set before everything went bad, and you were, in my dream Rapture-based game, you're like a detective, and I understand that there's the Infinite DLC, but it's a whole game where you're a detective in Rapture, and people are alive and stuff, and it's not like splicers and everyone's trying to kill you.
I don't know. I'm still pretty tepid on this news.
Yeah, we'll see.
Fair.
I have only liked 2 Bioshock products, and it's Minerva's Den and Infinite. And liked is a strong way for me to describe Bioshock Infinite. I just listen to the God Only Knows barbershop choir like twice a year.
So good.
It's extremely good.
It's really good.
I almost added that.
Drake said he'd rap about Fortnite if they put his Hotline Bling dance in the game.
Oh my god.
Speaking of, that's a wrap for today's episode. On
Why do our podcasts always get bad right at the end?
I think it's Anthony's fault
think we're
because he
just
starts
tired.
waking up.
Hey, no, I set Sam up for the best segue we've ever done, or he's ever
It
done.
was an
at least.
extremely good segue, and you all shit on it.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Speaking of shit, let's flush this podcast.
That's I don't know.
Good night, everybody.
So I don't know what anyone just said, but I assume you were all too busy laughing at my incredible segue.
I'll say it again. I did not like that one.
Okay, speaking of incredible segues, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch at SGCH. Those are my initials, so it's pretty easy to work that out. You can also find Alex online. And
Pancake,
Alison.
but it looks like pancakes.
And Alison, you can find her.
Yep. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at WRITERSERENYTY. Air horn
Andre.
noise.
You can find me on Twitter at Coolslaw COOLSL4W and Twitter at Cray, or not Twitter, Instagram at Cray_Dre. I am working on a video about Radical Heights that I am planning to put up, so keep your eye on my Twitter and you might see that.
Have you ever thought about consolidating your brand, Andre, into one cool username that might be, say, your 4 initials?
No, I only have 3 initials, so I can't. Nope.
You should
Not
get a
gonna
4th
happen.
initial. It's
What-
all the cool people are doing it.
What if you were to get a doctorate and then you could just go by Dr. Dre?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think it's taken.
I hate this podcast.
Don't
Well,
say
I-
that, Pat.
I don't mean it.
I would spell it with the accent, so
Yeah.
it'd be
Doctor.
similar yet legally different.
Doctor.
No, the accent isn't on doctor. What are you talking about?
I was referencing the episode of the Venture Brothers where they go to Mexico and Dr. Venture asks the doctor what the Mexican is for doctor. The Mexican doctor, what the Mexican word for doctor is, and the doctor goes, Doctor.
Well,
It's not Mexican.
I was gonna say the Spanish name.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
says, what's the Mexican word for doctor?
Okay. If it's a quote.
Dr. Venture is an asshole. If anyone hasn't watched The Venture Brothers, it's one of the best cartoons ever written.
More
Pat,
racist than I remember it being. Uh,
there's a
You look back
version
at
of
it,
Blade called Jefferson Twilight Blackula Hunter.
Oh my god.
yeah,
If
that's
you
right.
look back
And
at
he
it,
refuses to hunt white vampires. He only hunts Blackulas.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
Pat, where can we find you?
Yeah. You can find me at JesterPC on Twitter and Twitch, and my blog is gamingincompetence.com. I am hoping to have a review of MLB The Show 18 next week and an interview with some of the folks that develop Maelstrom over at Gunpowder Games.
Baller.
Yeah, I think everybody should keep their eyes peeled for that because Maelstrom sounds cool as hell, and Pat's blog is cool as hell.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Maelstrom interview next week. I won't hold Pat to that, but maybe we will. Thanks everybody for listening. Please like and subscribe us. Andre, you were saying something?
yes, friend of the show, Chris Edgerton, requests that we do a group review of Kingdom Hearts as a month-end show sometime. But we are kind of moving away from that. But if people are into it,
In like 8 months after everyone has a chance to finish that like 120-hour game.
it's only like 30 hours for the first one. Those
Okay.
games are actually not that long.
Only 30.
What if what
When
if
you,
we did
like you think they're much longer than they actually are, but they're not that
It
long.
does move through pretty breezily, I think, but
But there's
I
no
think we should
Darkwing
do a
Duck.
drinking watch along to the longest YouTube summary video of the entire story of Kingdom Hearts that we can find.
No, we should play the entirety of Kingdom Hearts and then watch that hour-long movie at the end of 2.8.
And there's multiple hour-long movies on, or multiple hour-long movies on the 2.5 as well. So there's 2 of the things are just like the cinematics from the games. Yeah, that's
Speaking of which, all the cinematics from Shenmue 1 were released in Japan.
All right,
in
all right.
cinemas
We're out.
as
The
Shenmue
podcast is
movie
over.
in
The podcast is
2001.
over. The podcast is over.
Please like,
Play that
subscribe.
music.
And this has been the best podcast we've ever recorded. Thank you and good night.